That fight you had last week wasn't about the dishes. It was a recording of a conversation that happened decades ago, and you were just reading your lines from a script you never saw. Your brain has a blueprint for connection, a preloaded operating system for every relationship you will ever have. And you've been running it on autopilot. By the end of this, you will see the architecture of that blueprint and how it dictates who you're drawn to, who you push away, and why certain conflicts repeat with chilling precision. This invisible script is either the source of your deepest connections or the hidden reason they keep falling apart. To see where it comes from, we have to go back to a simple room in the 1970s. Inside, a toddler plays with some toys while their mother sits nearby. A friendly stranger enters. The mother leaves for a few minutes, and then she returns. That's it. That's the entire experiment. Researchers called it the strange situation. They weren't focused on how the child reacted when the mother left. They focused on one specific moment, the reunion. What happens when the source of safety comes back into the room? The answers fell into a few distinct patterns. Some children, when their mother returned, would seek her out, connect for a moment to get reassurance, and then quickly go back to playing. Their internal system said, okay, the safe base is back, I'm regulated, I can explore again. This was the baseline. This was secure attachment. But then researchers followed these children and thousands of others for the next 40 years. They tracked their friendships, their careers, and their romantic lives. They found a direct, predictive link between that moment of reunion in infancy and the quality of that person's romantic relationships at age 30. How is that possible? The infant brain is a prediction machine built for one purpose: survival. Its primary question is, if I signal a need, will my caregiver respond consistently and attune to that need? For a securely attached child, the answer is a reliable yes. The world feels predictable, safe. Connection is a resource you can count on, so you develop the ability to ask for it clearly, receive it, and then move on with your life. You can be both intimate and independent because they were never presented as opposites. You trust that connection will be there when you return. You can have a disagreement with a partner without your nervous system interpreting it as a threat to your entire existence. Your internal world is calm. This allows your external world to flourish. But for almost half the population, the answer to that core question was sometimes. And that single word changes everything. This creates what we call anxious attachment. The caregiver's response was inconsistent. Sometimes they were warm and present, other times they were distracted or overwhelmed. The child's brain learns a critical lesson. Connection is precarious and might disappear at any moment. To survive, you must amplify your signal. You have to work harder to get your needs met. As an adult, this translates into a constant low-grade vigilance in relationships. You scan for any sign of distance. A text message with a period at the end feels like a threat. Your partner, needing a night alone, triggers a primal fear of abandonment. Your nervous system is screaming, the connection is breaking, do something. This leads to protest behavior, calling multiple times, picking a fight just to get a reaction, seeking constant reassurance. You feel like you have to perform, to earn love, to be interesting enough to keep someone from leaving. The strategy is to close the distance at all costs, because in your wiring, distance equals danger. It's an exhausting way to live. But there's another strategy that looks like the complete opposite. It looks like strength, it looks like independence. It's actually a strategy born from the exact same wound. This is avoidant attachment. For this child, the caregiver was consistently unavailable or even rejecting, crying out for help either when ignored or was met with irritation. The brain learns another survival lesson. Signaling your needs is pointless or even dangerous. It only leads to disappointment. To survive, you must deactivate your signal. You learn to self-soothe. You become fiercely independent. As an adult, this creates a deep-seated belief that relying on others is a weakness. You pride yourself on your self-sufficiency. Intimacy feels suffocating, like a demand you can't meet. When a partner expresses needs or strong emotions, your internal alarm bells go off. Your nervous system codes this as a threat to your autonomy, the very thing that kept you safe as a child. The impulse is to create distance, to pull away, to rationalize your feelings instead of feeling them. You might hear yourself saying, "I just need some space," or "I'm not good at emotions." These are logical defenses for a system that learned early on that connection is unsafe. Their nervous system codes closeness as a threat. When these two strategies meet, they create a perfectly stable, perfectly miserable system. And that system now powers millions of relationships. It's called the anxious-avoidant trap, and it's a vicious feedback loop. The anxious person, fearing abandonment, pursues connection more intensely. They text more, ask more questions, demand more reassurance. This amplified signal is precisely what triggers the avoidant person's fear of being smothered. So the avoidant partner pulls away. They become quiet, distant, and ask for space to protect their autonomy. This withdrawal is the exact proof the anxious person needed that they are about to be abandoned. Their deepest fear is confirmed. So they escalate their pursuit even more. The anxious person's protest behavior proves to the avoidant person that intimacy is a trap. The avoidance withdrawal proves to the anxious person that love is conditional. Each partner's defensive strategy is the other's greatest trigger. They both feel completely justified in their actions. They were both just trying to feel safe, using the only tools they ever learned. And they are both unintentionally co-creating the exact outcome they fear the most. This raises a crushing question. Are you just stuck playing out a script you never chose? The research on neuroplasticity gives a clear answer. The attachment system, while deeply ingrained, can be rewired. The brain can change at any age. This process creates what psychologists call earned, secure attachment. It means you can build a secure operating system even with insecure raw materials. It happens through new, corrective emotional experiences. It requires having a relationship with a partner, a friend, or a therapist where the old pattern gets a new ending. You express a need, and it's met with consistent warmth. You set a boundary, and it's respected without punishment. You show vulnerability, and instead of being rejected, you're met with empathy. Each time this happens, a new neural pathway is formed. Your brain learns on a cellular level that connection can be safe and reliable. You learn to tolerate the discomfort of distance without panicking. You learn to tolerate the demands of intimacy without shutting down. You slowly build the internal sense of safety that you were trying to get from your partner. But if your internal magnet is calibrated to find the very people who confirm your deepest fears, how do you ever break the cycle? The escape route begins with a radical shift in focus. The work is to stop trying to fix your partner's strategy and start focusing on regulating your own. This is a deeply ingrained survival response. For the anxious style, this means learning to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty. It means when your partner needs space, instead of chasing them, you learn to soothe your own nervous system. You build a life so rich and full that one person's temporary distance is no longer a 5-alarm fire. You learn to give yourself the reassurance you've been demanding from others. For the avoidance style, it means learning to lean into discomfort. It means noticing the impulse to pull away and choosing, just for a moment, to stay present. To share a feeling instead of a thought. To recognize that your fierce independence was a brilliant adaptation to your past, but it's now costing you the connection you quietly crave. The first step is to see your attachment style for what it is: a strategy. It was the best you could come up with at the time with the information you had. It helped you survive. Your attachment style isn't a personality flaw. It's a survival map for a territory you no longer live in. You are allowed to draw a new one. The process starts by recognizing the old map, thanking it for getting you this far, and then consciously choosing to navigate with a different compass. The compass of self-regulation, of meeting your own needs first. The ballot box of your identity is open, and this internal rewiring is the same mechanism behind overcoming the fear of conflict, which is a different kind of survival strategy entirely.